In the heart of the night, where the shadows play, Steve and Michael begin lighting up the way. Abnormal investigations, whispers in the trees. With boots on the ground, I'm chasing mysteries. Shining lights into the dark, unveiling what's unseen. Through the haunting silence, I walk where others dream. I'm on the ancient woods, where legends come alive. I'll uncover the truth, feel the shadows strike. Footsteps on the trail, echoes in the night, searching for the secrets hidden from the light. Cryptids roam the wild under the moon's embrace. With every rustle in the leaves, I feel their haunting grace. Shining lights into the dark, unveiling what's unseen. Through the haunting silence, I walk where others dream. Among the ancient woods, where legends come alive, I'll uncover the truth, feel the shadows strike. Each night a new adventure in the depths of the unknown. With passion in my heart, I'll walk this path alone. But with every discovery, I know I'm not afraid. For in the woods of wonder, true wonders are made. Shining lights into the dark, unveiling what's unseen. Through the haunting silence, I'll walk where others dream. Among the ancient woods, where legends come alive, I'll uncover the truth, feel the shadows thrive. So here's to the night, where the strange comes to be, with boots firmly planted on where I'm meant to be.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Abnormal Investigations. I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. Make sure we got good audio. I was working on the audio is actually what I was working on. So can everybody in chat hear me okay tonight? Make sure our audio is working. Looks like we got Keith Blunt in here. We got Tim Wrestler with us tonight. Gary Carpenter, good to see you. We got Tina in here moderating. Always good to see you, Tina. Make sure we get everything here working the way it should be. All right. Tina says she's able to hear me, so that's a good thing. Guys, tonight we're going to be talking with a special guest, Mr. Wagner. He is going to be talking to us about, mostly we're going to talk about the alien disclosure, what everybody's been talking about. Wagner is an author of many books. He also has communicated with other intelligence that I think we're going to be able to benefit from tonight to maybe give us an idea of what's going on, the disclosure, what we can look for, what maybe he thinks it is. So we'll get to pick his brain tonight. So it's going to be a fun night. It's always a pleasure to have him on. As always, we welcome our guests. We do have one little thing I need to announce tonight. I need you to keep Lisa in your prayers. Her husband has fallen ill, and she's having to move back to Wisconsin as an emergency to have him placed into a home where he can get the care that he needs. So please keep her in your prayers, and we hope that everything goes good. Vicky, so good to see you. I'm glad you made it in here tonight. Without further ado, guys, everybody, please welcome Wagner to the show.
Hello, everyone. It's good to see you again, Mike.
How are you tonight?
I'm doing good, my
friend.
It's
Good to see you. You doing all right?
Yeah, everything's perfect. Thank you.
A lot of things going on in the news.
Exactly. Exciting times we're living in. Well, I think it all started to ramp up last year with the Congress hearing, right? So since then, I think things started to ramp up exponentially, and now We have people talking about UFO and UFOs, UAPs, and alien life as something that it would be totally normal. Something
Right.
like 5-10 years ago, that would be some sort of lunatic discussion, right?
They would want to put you in the an insane asylum, right? They say that.
Exactly.
So last night, I got something I'll just throw out there to you and see what you think about this. So last night I was on the phone with one of my moderators, and while we were talking, we both kind of noticed it at the same time, which I thought was also pretty unique. In the east sky, right at sundown here, I'm in northeast Oklahoma. I was looking to the east, and I noticed that there, we of course had the planet, the bright planet, but I also noticed that there was another bright planet, and as I got to looking, there was another, and it was almost a circle, and it was almost a perfect circle in the east with the planet. And I thought, now I've never seen this before. And now the person I was talking to, she's in another state, and I said, "Are you looking to the east?" And she said, "Yeah, the stars, right?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you noticing that?" And then I got so interested in it that I came in the house because I tried to take a photograph of it with my cell phone, and my cell phone wouldn't pick it up. So I came in the house and I grabbed this right here is actually what I have. It's it's an IR video camera, and whenever you use the IR on the sky, oh my gosh, you see all kinds of things. And one of the stars that was making the circle started, it wasn't flashing, it was pulsating, was what I would say, more like it was really started pulsating, and it started moving, and it moved through the middle of the circle, and it got all the way to the end, and then it went up, and it's like it just went out. And I said, "That's not normal. I've never seen anything do that before." So I was going to see what your thoughts were on that, because I've never seen that before. And she was watching it in another state, like not even close to me. I'm talking like several states away.
Yeah, that is that is a pretty impressive report. I didn't see that. I would love to have seen that. Right. I think that I'm very skeptical when it comes to things moving in the skies, because um, it is pretty easy to jump to conclusions, right? So there are a couple things that we need to make sure that we can just strike out of our list until we get to the point that we say, okay, this is really weird, right?
Right. Yeah.
So one thing that is very common for people to think that they are UAPs are the Elon Musk satellites, Starlink. So especially, so if you usually see something, not that it was your case, but if you see an alignment of moving objects and they seem to be moving all together in the same direction, it's very likely that it is those are Starlink satellites. So, and there are apps or websites where you can track and say, "Hey, I'm right here, in Oklahoma, in Oklahoma City, and I have seen at this particular time, I saw these objects." So, ChatGPT would also give you a pretty good answer if that is the case.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could use Chat GPT for that. That's good to know.
Yeah, there are places that you can check for that information. Yeah. So the other thing would be is there any kind of noise associated with that, right? Especially if it is a buzzing sound, it's very likely to be a drone, right? The other thing is maybe it can be an airplane, right? If you live near uh, an airport, but people that usually live near the airport, they know exactly the route of the planes. They know that kind of stuff. So that's also easy to check off the list. And well, not very common, but also a major um, a major candidate would be a any launch from Cape Canaveral or Houston. So if there is a launch, uh, then you might see something. So usually Cape Canaveral, right? So you might be. I don't think Houston has a launch pad. I don't remember. But either way, but even though if it is from Cape Canaveral, you could see something, in the sky.
Okay.
But then we get to if we checked all those items, right? We get to the bottom of the list and we see, hey, this thing doesn't match any of those. It could be. It could be. There are. This is pretty fresh that I'm going to tell you. So, well, for people that do not know me here, I channel the Galactic Federation of Light and Higher Spirits, and I do this voluntary work Monday through Fridays, every day, receiving about 3 messages a day. So, so far, I have written 15 books, working on the 16th right now. And right today, exactly today, there was a message explaining a little bit more about orbs in the sky. And the message basically says that, well, UAPs or vast ships from the Galactic Federation, they operate under the 4 dimensions, okay? And non-federated aliens, like, for example, the Greys, they usually operate in 3 dimensions. Let me give you a brief explanation about what that means. So 3 dimensions is basically where we live, right? So we know what is height, what is depth, what is width. So those are the 3 dimensions. So imagine that we could add a 4th dimension to this. That is not time. I'm talking about a physical dimension, okay? And our brains cannot conceive that idea, but it is a mathematical concept that has been proved. So, for example, maybe you heard the name Tesseract, right? Especially from the Marvel movies, the Avengers movie. A Tesseract is a 4-dimensional cube. Okay. So this is a 3-dimensional cube. So if you take this cube and you let me grab a piece of paper here. This one. I have this piece of paper, and I will put some shadow here on the paper. Well, doesn't work so well, but there's shadow on the paper. We could see something like a square, right? So if every time we project the shadow of a 3D object on a wall, we will see a two-dimensional representation of this object. Okay? If we have a four-dimensional object, its shadow will be three-dimensional. So imagine that a sphere or a cube, they would be made out of a shadow. So that's something around those lines, okay? If we are talking about a shadow. Another important concept here is about how we perceive a four-dimensional object. And to talk about that, let's go back to how if we would live in a sheet of paper, okay, we would be two-dimensional people here. How we would see things here. We would see circles, triangles, rectangles, right? And so on. The concept of height doesn't exist. It's totally alien to me. So if I would take a three-dimensional object and started to pierce it through that sheet of paper, what would I see? I would see every single layer of that three-dimensional object as a two-dimensional object. So for example, if I take this sheet of paper and I would cross this cube through it, I would see, well, if I'm living here, I would see nothing. And out of nowhere, there would be a square popping out. And then that square would stay there for a while as it goes through until that passes. And then that square is gone. Okay? If we would do that with a sphere, then we would see a small circle and then growing and growing and growing. And then to the point that it gets to the middle of the center of the sphere. And then as it passes the center, then it will start to get, the circle will get smaller, smaller, and smaller, and then it's gone. Does it make sense?
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. It's kind of like our brain cannot look into the fourth dimension. Even though there is a fourth dimension there, we're not able to perceive the fourth dimension. We're only seeing the third dimension. We're not seeing the full picture of what's really there, right? Is that right?
And now, why am I talking about that? Because now we can relate the same concept with the four-dimensional object. So let's say that there is a hypersphere, a four-dimensional sphere out there. How would us three-dimensional people see it? We would see it a sphere popping out of nowhere. It simply appeared out of nowhere. We might see this sphere growing up, growing, and then getting smaller, just like we did with the sphere through the 2D plane, right? But we would see that in three dimensions, right? And here's the fun part. Well, I picked a sphere, a cube, that they are simple objects, but of course you can extrapolate that to any shape, right? So the orbs, they operate under the same concept. If you usually you might see an orb popping out of nowhere, simply they appeared. It's probably because that's their 3D representation or shadow of what the four-dimensional object is that just popped there, and then it may change sizes or shapes only because that's our limited view of the object. It's just like, again, the 3D object passing through the sheet of paper, right? And also, of course, it can move pretty quick because it's not limited so much by our physics. So it can do, like, for example, an L-shaped movement that nothing on Earth would do, right? Could do in under certain speed. So it is possible that what you saw was one of these four-dimensional ships. They mentioned that a four-dimensional. I'm sorry, the Galactic Federation of Light. They have four-dimensional ships, but Greys or other aliens that are not morally evolved as the galactic, as the those components from the Galactic Federation, they still have 3D vessels. So usually you can see not an orb, but those classic UFOs that made out of metal, or something that is different from an orb, right? So those would probably be more morally non-evolved aliens. Okay.
All right. So we had a first question for you also. Sunshine wanted to know, what is your thoughts on why would they still be trying to hold the records back whenever an elected president is asking for the full disclosure?
That's a good point. The disclosure, that's something that was planned by governments, but in a much lower speed than today. So they would start to, for example, first find bacteria or a virus in Mars, and then go from there, or the clouds of Venus, and from there there would be a very slow process until getting to real aliens, right? Or aliens with consciousness, better saying. The part, well, governments want to keep you under control, right? I mean, not necessarily under a dictatorial control, but under their control. Else you are a rebel, you are an outcast, you're something else. You do not, you would not belong to that hierarchy. So if you disclosure something that big out of the blue, without people being prepared, they could panic. They could start doing some pretty bad stuff because they can simply snap. That kind of concept of the concept of aliens goes against the most of the major religions in the world. It goes against what our culture accepted as peaceful so far. So it goes against a lot of taboos that have been impregnated in our society for quite some time. So instead of just showing up, hey, here's the alien, right? What would be a better approach? Saying, hey, we saw something fly in the sky that we have no idea what it is. So now the ball is with you, public, and you will talk about that. You decide what that is. And then people might start by themselves saying, oh, I don't know what that is. Is it an UAP? Is this an alien ship? So people might start asking these questions and not under a panic mode. Does it make sense? So
yeah. So, like, for instance, here in Oklahoma, there's an old place that a lot of people used to go, and as far as I know, it still happens. It is they call it a spook light, And this spook light is running along this certain stretch of highway. It's up around Miami, Oklahoma. And they say that sometimes it will take the form of a human and it will chase cars at 45 miles an hour, or it'll be a ball, or it takes different forms. Would that be, you think, something in the fourth dimension, or is that something you think that is messing, I guess maybe messing with us to see how far it can push us before we go crazy? I mean, I could only imagine something chasing me down the highway taking a human form, you know?
Yeah. There could be two things. There could be it could be an alien that is non-corporeal, because there are beings that are non-corporeal and they can show themselves as just simply light or an orb, and then take the shape of whatever they want or whoever they want. But also, it is very common that you could see that it could be a case of spirits that might be at that place. I mean, either one of the cases could happen. So it really depends on a lot of circumstances there. What was how was everything, happening? What happened before? What happened after? How did you feel with that? How was others see that? Well, so there are a lot of factors that, but I would get down to one of those two options.
Yeah, because I thought it was pretty strange that it would stay in one place. Gary
Sorry,
Carpenter
I
has a
can't hear you.
question. Oh, is it not working? Am I coming through now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Gary Carpenter wants to know, do you remember the UFO that landed in Las Vegas a few years ago?
I don't.
I'm thinking maybe he's talking about where
What
they saw.
was that case? I think your audio is gone again.
Uh-oh. Are you able to hear me now?
No,
Nothing.
can't hear you.
That's weird. What about now?
Nope, nothing.
Nothing now, huh? That is strange. Now
Oh, okay. Now you're back.
I'm back.
Yep. Yes, you're back.
Okay. There we go. I guess we got a loose cord. But so I guess one of the questions I was wanting to ask you on the disclosure, do you think that, are they trying to, do you believe, prepare us for them to actually come out and say they're here? Do you believe that's where they're taking this?
Yes and no. Let me tell you why. No, because the reason behind those disclosures, they are a little bit obscure, right? So why disclose these files exactly right now, right at this exact moment in time? There are maybe other things going on that people want to take our attention out. And I'm not only I'm not talking about politics, or being left or right, or up or down.
Right.
uh, I'm talking about every single government in the world. That's what they do, right?
Right.
So if there's something that they do not want to people to start questioning or looking at, they just put another topic that will just grab their attention. And this is a good one, right? One that we have been waiting for so long. So the motivation behind that is not really so good, but there is the good side of it is that now, like I said, we're starting to talk about it openly. We can discuss, uh, uh, we can elaborate on that topic. The At least the Galactic Federation, what they say is that once are um, we're ready, and by ready I mean really accepting that there is life out there and that there can be peaceful life, you know, friends from outside. They will start their first contact protocol. Their first contact protocol is basically divided in a few phases. The first one is what they call the dance of lights. And just like people might see occasionally, in different parts of the world, an orb or see something strange in the sky, this kind of appearances would start to pop out everywhere, multiple locations at the same time. So a lot of people will be experiencing that instead of just, one guy in the middle of nowhere. Okay. So after these dance of lights, it is just like I like to say, when you get, a toy and you start to play with a baby, and you just want to do that gently so the baby will not cry or get spooked, right? So you play with the baby. So that's what they would be doing with us. So we do not get, uh, uh, out of control, let's say. Um, so the second part would be those lights would start to become as also visible during the daylight, but as ships. So these ships would just stay there, and it's just like uh, a friend coming to your house, knocking at your door. They will just stay outside, right? Until you open the door and you say, come in. That's the same concept. They will be there waiting for us to say, you can come down. Once that is done, they will simply get out of their ships and present themselves, right? So those are the steps. It's not something that would happen in a day, right? So it is a process. Could take many days.
So do they have to be invited?
Well, yes. Well, if if we're talking about the Galactic Federation, yes.
Okay.
uh, the Galactic Federation will fully respect our sovereignty, so they will not approach you if you are not open. They will not, do any invasive surgery or procedure.
Right.
Uh, but if you just connect to them, then they will get in contact with you.
So what about like for okay, so they won't come unless they're invited. Does that go the same for the others, the Greys and all? Do they have to be invited also?
No, those guys, they don't really care about us. They don't
Right.
give a damn. They will do what they think is best for them for their own interests. And I mean, that's why one of the one recommendation they provide is, do not try to contact these guys, because you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it's a the gray race, and they will take you, and do some weird experiments on you. Or
No, thank you.
don't mess with those guys. That's the tip.
That's like cell block C right there. No. So Vicky wants to know, and the videos that we see circulating online and stuff, the doctors that appear to be in these underground bases or these hidden places doing these autopsies on these creatures. Are those true, or do you think those are not true?
They are. Well, I mean, not necessarily all videos, especially with AI today, right?
Oh yeah,
That's very, very, very careful.
That's driving me crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, there have been governments from Earth. They have been in contact with the Greys already, and with the Galactic Federation before. So basically, let's say if we go back to the 50s, I think, late 40s, basically there was an option at the table where we had both the Galactic Federation and the Greys saying, hey, you want to make a deal, right? And basically the deal from the Galactic Federation, since they have a peaceful intent, was, well, first thing, you gotta get rid of this nuclear technology, because that can be pretty dangerous, and we can establish a peaceful relationship with you guys, right? And share our technology and go from there. They do not have technology to attack anyone. They could develop, but they do not have anything that attack any other civilization. And then the Greys, their race are basically dying. So after years and years of genetic manipulation, so they came here and said, okay, here's the deal. We'll give you, advanced technologies, but on the other hand, you're going to let me experiment on, a couple people.
Right.
You're not even going to notice.
Yeah, except for the couple of people. they're going to notice.
Yeah. So that's where they chose. Of course, they chose the Greys. They just gave just crappy technology to these governments compared to the technology they have, and we can see all the reports about people being abducted and being messed with for years.
Does it seem to you maybe that the that the country that maybe has the best technology is maybe working more with the Greys? Is that kind of?
Well, yes. So these there are certain technologies that came from the Greys, and you can see that being used by certain countries and not others, because yes, the Greys, they didn't make a pact with the whole Earth. They made a deal with specific governments. Yeah.
Okay. So you was talking about, and this is what I find interesting too, is we were talking about that they have to have permission, say to come down. So in the people that would practice the CE5 project, would they say, if they went out to do that, do they have to give the permission in order to be able to get the contact? And if they don't give that permission, will they not have the contact? Is that kind of how that works? They have to be open to it? And if you're close to it, it's probably not going to happen.
Well, I'm sorry, your audio
Oh, sorry.
failed a little bit, but I think I got your question. If you are in contact with a gray, let's say, they will not ask for permission, and if you do not give permission, they will abduct you anyway. So, but if you have you're in contact with a gray, let's say, or an alien that is non-federated, if you summon with your thoughts and with all your heart, if you kind of do a prayer or something, meditation, or you ask for the intervention from the Galactic Federation, they will show up and they will stop whatever mass is will start to take place.
So is it possible that when they're doing these CE5s, is it possible that they could contact something that could potentially be dangerous to them?
Yeah, if you just go out, let's say you go out in the middle of the woods and you see something and you just say, hey, I'm here, you don't know who they got. It's just like, remember Independence Day, there were these guys on top of the building with with signs saying, hey aliens, welcome, we're here. And then right. There's the famous scene of destruction. But it's the same concept. I mean, you don't know who those guys are. They might be dangerous, they might not. So it's just playing with luck, right?
So it's a man, that's like going out there and like gambling, right? It's like, is this one going to be friendly or is he not going to be friendly?
Yeah. Well, that's why one thing that I strongly recommend is that whenever you're having such an encounter, make sure that you immediately connect with the Galactic Federation there. Make sure that you ask for their protection, for their guidance here, because if those guys are not from the Galactic Federation, they will not mess with you, because they're not crazy. The technology from the Galactic Federation is so much more advanced than these guys that it's just like comparing the technology from the Greys with us, right? That's kind of the distance between the Greys and the Galactic Federation. So yeah, I mean, you got to be protected.
So how long would you say that you have been in contact, and how did it first happen for you? How did it first start?
Well, my first out-of-body experience happened almost a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago. And since then, just like I said, I've been channeling messages, not only from the Galactic Federation, but from spirits as well. Since then, it's been almost more than a book per month so far. There are 15 books. So there, yeah. So for example, yeah, let me let me show you this. These are the books so far. It's heavy. It's really heavy.
Oh wow.
So those are the messages so far.
So have you ever like recorded any audio, video, or physical evidence of any of the encounters? Is that possible to do, or do they know if you're trying to do that? Do they block that, or is it possible to be able to do that?
It depends. That's a very good question. Some people, they do have physical evidence. I don't, but and one day I asked them, "Hey, can I get some?"
Right.
Their answer was simply, "How do they make how can that make you a better person? Right?
Right.
So, and I said, okay, yeah, that's my ego talking. I understand.
Right.
But
So
yeah.
are the contacts like, are they continuous, periodic, or like single events usually?
Well, with me, that's I channel those messages every morning, Monday through Fridays. So usually I don't know who's gonna come. So there may be a spirit. It may be that maybe someone from the Federation. Usually, whenever they come forward, they introduce themselves. Sometimes they when they well that's rare when they do not introduce themselves. So at the end, I understand who they are. A lot of times, they're when the message starts, I get a visual uh, imprint in my mind of the person.
Oh wow.
So I see, their shape, and I see, hey, do you? For example, there was a guy from the Federation that they had a head like a crab, but he was humanoid, but his head was in the format of a crab, something close to a crab. And I said, "Is that really? You have the head of a crab?" And the guy said, "Yes, you're right. You're seeing exactly what how I am." So, yep, that's usually how I distinguish them.
So whenever they present themselves to you, or you have this vision of them, is it always like maybe like an animal, or do they come as different things?
I mean, it depends. Sometimes I do not see, I do not have this vision of who I'm talking to, but when they want, I'm assuming that's when they want, and that is makes sense to whatever is the message about. They provide that mental imprint.
So do they ever like express opinions about human behavior, politics, or religion? Are they interested in any of that?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You cut a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Do they ever like express opinions about like human behavior, politics, or religion?
Good question. Good question. So no, they respect us the fullest possible. So they will not judge us. Even the worst person in the world. I mean, that's part of our evolution. They about religion, they just say, hey, make sure that you follow the good path. That's it. They do not tell you um, be a Christian or be a Muslim or be uh, uh, anything. They will tell you, follow your the good path. Whatever is the path of love, charity, good behavior. All that. That's it. That's what they suggest, but they do not suggest any specific religion, or and they do not condone that. That's also important. Any religion.
That's interesting, really, because yeah. So have you ever like personally experienced any psychological effects, like any health changes or any marks that you thought might be on you, or any implants that a lot of people talk about?
Well, I don't. I had I had an episode where, but I don't know if. Well, there were a couple episodes. There was one day that I was extremely sad because of something that was going on in my life. And those moments that you feel helpless, you feel absolute that huge void in you. So that was one of those days. I was sitting and I clearly felt someone's hand over my shoulder, just like that person was comforting me. Again, since I channeled both spirits and Galactic Federation, I don't know if that was a spirit taking care of me or if that was part of the Galactic Federation. Another case, I was, believe it or not, in a church, uh, and when I was there, I felt that I was being spiritually attacked, and someone there, a spirit, was attacking my the region of my kidneys, and I had some huge pain, enormous pain there. And then I stopped and I created my protection. At the moment I created my protection, that pain simply that was gone.
So,
The Yep.
no, go ahead. Yeah, that's interesting.
There is another case. Well, I usually before the session every day, I have a list of people they basically are going through cancer, and I do spiritual healing on them. Not saying that it was because of me, but this person that I'm talking about, she also does that on her by herself. She contacts the Galactic Federation, and she goes through that process as well. But she had lung cancer. The doctor told her, you don't have more than 6 months, because her lungs were total because of the of that cancer. And well, a couple months later, there was almost no sign of cancer on her anymore. And the doctor simply said, I have no idea what happened. And we know that she went through some sessions, not with me, but with a friend of mine that does Arcturian healing. And so this can happen. I mean, I haven't seen the physical evidence, but every time I needed, they were there.
So, whenever they say visit, do they emit like a radiation or an electromagnetic field that someone may detect, maybe right before an encounter or maybe residual after an encounter?
So most of these beings, they operate in a fourth dimension, right? So just like, let me grab a sheet of paper here. So imagine that we live in this sheet of paper, right? We are these letters, right? So if I'm here, these letters, they cannot see me. They can't see my hand. Even if I press my hand against the sheet of paper, they cannot see or feel my finger here pressing, because they do not have the concept of up and down, right?
Right.
But the structure, the fabric of this reality, it can change, right? So I can warp it, I can do, whatever I want with this. That's the same concept with a four-dimensional being. They can go through you, they can go, see you from all angles at the same time. So, and they can operate or affect us in multiple ways without us seeing or feeling that. Just like I was pressing against this two-dimensional letter here, and this being, two-dimensional being, would not feel a thing or even know that I was there doing it.
I had a time I was out in the woods, and I actually was filming. It was during the daytime. I was doing a daytime investigation. And you know how you can feel like something's around you and you feel like you're being watched and it feels really heavy and you're like on guard. And I kept hearing something walking around me in the leaves, but you couldn't see it. But you knew, you could hear it sound like a human walking. Could that be something in like, what would it be? Like a fourth dimension or a parallel dimension or something like that. You're hearing it, but you can't see it. That's what was really throwing me off that
day. In that case, it is much more probable that it was a spirit, because spirits are everywhere. Everywhere. There are more spirits than there are people incarnated on Earth. So, for example, right now, there might be, I don't know, 10 people here with me and I couldn't see them, right? If you have a mediumship minimally evolved, you're able to feel this kind of things, feel a presence or even hear a presence, or, and this is something that starts to happen more frequently now, what we're going through that is called the planetary transition. But during this moment in time, people will start to have more of that kind of ability being flourished.
Okay. So I got to ask this question because I know everybody's going to want to know. So do you believe that they are connected to the cryptids? Is there a connection? And if there's a connection, what is your thoughts on why is water always seem to be in the equation? It seems like wherever they follow the water. Is there something with the water?
Not necessarily. There might be beings they might need water. The Galactic Federation, not necessarily, but other beings, they use water to hide themselves. So, for example, the deep ocean, the Mariana Trench, things like that.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of the water, but because nobody's looking at it, right? So not necessarily about the water. Not necessarily. Let me put it this way: if aliens were interested in our water, they would we would have seen them, in other places. For example, the moon, or many moons. Asteroids, comets. A lot of them have water, and we have never seen, there. So, not necessarily. I don't think there is necessarily a relationship.
I think what you're saying kind of also made sense to me, as far as it may not be the water, but it might be maybe the concealment, and that they could go places under the water and deeper under the water than what we can. So there would be like a
more,
maybe
more into that sense. Yeah.
That's interesting. So there was another thing I was watching on a show the other night whenever I was preparing for this, and I thought it was pretty interesting. There was a gentleman talking about when you go outside at night, and he said it could be something as simple as you're going to go feed the chickens, or you're going to go check the cows, or your dogs are barking. He said, try not to strobe the sky with your flashlight. He said that could cause a not necessarily a bad encounter, he said, but it could cause like he said, well, the way he put it was, it's like ringing a telephone. You don't know who's going to answer. He said, because it draws attention.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was talking about. You never know who's going to answer. So if you imagine that an animal, except for fireflies, but animals do not emit light, right? So
Right.
if there is an alien ship, flying through you, you're in a dark place, and you just turn your flashlight on. Someone will look at you and say, "Oh, okay, I see you there," right?
This guy wants probed.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it goes from feeding the chickens to PTSD.
Exactly. Yep. I mean,
So have you ever been scared, Wagner? Have you ever had anything happen to where you thought you was in trouble or danger, or you thought that you might be harmed?
No, I don't think so. Um, I never. Well, since I started this work, no, but I
No.
had moments before I understood about doing my protection, about summoning or the spiritual assistance or the Galactic Federation assistance. I had, for example, a case of sleep paralysis where I was I think a teenager. I woke up in the middle of the night. I saw this huge dark figure at the door. I couldn't scream for help. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. The only thing I could do at the time was to close my eyes and say, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God."
Right.
And
Yeah.
then that being was not there anymore. So,
I've done that, Wagner.
yeah.
I have done that. And that was the most terrifying moment of my life. I've only done it 3 times. And that was the most terrifying 3 times in my life. The last time that it done it, I demanded it to leave, in Jesus Christ's name. It left, and it never happened again. But it was, I was laying in bed, and I had my little boy was there. I could hear him playing. I could think I could process. I knew what was going on around me. I could see. I could move my eyes. I could see, hear, move my eyes. I knew what was going on around me, but I could not move anything else. It was like a heavy weight was on me. And now I never saw the Hat Man. I never saw that, but I felt something. It wasn't that I saw it. I could feel something on my chest. I felt heavy, hard to breathe. And the longer that it went on, it wasn't like somebody had their hand around my throat. It was more like you were being like compressed or smashed. It was getting harder to breathe, not because you were being choked around the throat, but it was like a pressure.
Mhm.
And that was all I knew to do. I yelled out for Jesus. And when I did, it stopped. And, it was such an event for me that I honestly, for a while, whenever I would go to bed, I didn't want to lay down and go to sleep because I was afraid it was going to happen again. I mean, that's a traumatic feeling. That's a scary feeling.
Yep. And that's the why it is very, very well, not only because of that, but it is very, very important that before we go to sleep and right after we wake up, we ask for protection independently of our religion. Just follow your religion, but make sure that you are protected. Yeah.
So what do you think we're going to see, Wagner, during the disclosure? Are we going to see a reptilian step out and say we're among you? Do you think they're going to produce one to us, or are they going to leave it at they exist, and that's going to be it.
Well, I will have to disappoint a lot of people now.
That's what.
One thing that the messages that I received from the Galactic Federation is that there are no reptilians here. The reptilians exist, but they're not here dominating Earth or doing anything evil behind the scenes. There is a reptilian empire that caused the Orion Wars a long time ago. The empire still exists, but they do not have any interest on Earth. And there are reptilians that are good. Just like we cannot say that every human is good or every human is bad, right? So there is a gradient. Just same thing with any other race.
Right.
There are good greys. There are good reptilians, insectoids. So what we will see once the Federation makes first contact, we will see reptilians, but good reptilians from the Federation, not those bad ones from the Empire.
So do you think in the disclosure, do you think we're going to actually see one? Or do you think they're going to leave it at, they're there, we have shown you that they're out there, and they're going to just leave it at that? We're not going to get like everybody wants the full disclosure. They want an alien to step up, to the microphone and say, "Hey, we're here," and
I think that if we say disclosure from governments, they will, my assumption is that they will just start releasing information and depicting that aliens are evil, right? And you will be the one deciding for that. And why I'm saying this, because there is financial value depicting aliens as evil. So you can ask for more money for defense, for example. You can start trying to develop technologies, warfare technologies that will be focused on aliens, but you're actually focusing other nations, because you don't know what is going to explode, how to explode a UFO, right?
Right. Right.
So there is we just got to be careful in that sense. And when that kind of idea is put on our face, we can just stop, think, and say, "Hey, is that something that makes sense? Is that an idea that is being trying to be put in our heads?" Right?
Right.
The Galactic Federation says, and this is in a lot of pages in the newest book, they say, have discernment, right? Do not just accept what the someone on TV is talking about. Think about it. Do a discernment exercise first.
Yeah. I do that also every day. I use discernment, and I think I think it's important to use, like what you said. I'm Christian, so I try to use Christian discernment, and so yeah, I think that's very important that we use discernment. I think that people, whenever the disclosure came out, I think they were expecting more than what they're going to get. I think that they're still going to hide the major parts. I think that there was other things going on. It's kind of like watch the left hand while the right hand's doing something. There was something else going on that they needed us to focus more on.
Yep.
because I even heard a guy talking the other night when I was looking at this, and he was talking about, you know, everybody's looking at the skies right now whenever they should be looking at what's coming out of the caves, you know. So I think what he was trying to convey was they want you to look up right now, so you should be looking down, you know, kind of, you know, same scenario, same thing. So do you think that do you think we have anything in inner earth? Do you believe that exists, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that there is a lot out there that we are not aware, right? So there's a lot of secret stuff, a lot of nasty things that if would go out to the public, that would be a total disaster. I mean,
Yeah.
because just again, we are there are all shades of good and evil in our society, right? We have,
Absolutely.
I mean, we might say, what we might say the government or big companies, big pharma, whoever. But in these places, there are very good people, but there are also the very bad. And
Right.
they got to work together, right? And they're in the same roof, the same place. They have different interests. They have, they compete. So it unfortunately, yeah, that is a real mess. But I believe that there are all sorts of stuff, still
I,
here.
I I agree with you completely. Uh, Wagner, I've had you almost an hour and a half, man. I'm going to let you give your final thoughts and let you say, what you think's going on, and kind of also tell everybody where to find you, how to find your books, how they can help, support you. And you're doing a lot of work. I know I can't even imagine writing one book. So I know that you're doing a lot more than what I could even. I don't know. Books blow me away.
Yeah. So I think that we just gotta be watch out for this year and the next couple years. A lot will happen. A lot will be disclosed. Um, just make sure they, like I said, you do your due diligence. Doing the discernment. Uh, do not necessarily think that all aliens are bad or all aliens are good, because that's just not the way things work, right? Just think that, well, there is another civilization. If there is another country, is that country, everybody in that country, are they all bad? Are they all good? It's not like that, right? There are bad people, there are good people. So just like a civilization from the outside, the most of what we discussed today and a lot more, they are in the newest book, that is this one called are we ready for new earth? So this book is available, all books basically are available for free on Google Play. So I'm sorry. If you go to Google Play, you type w.l.rodriguez with S, then you will find all those 15 books, or search by the Spirits Files. They are all for free. On Amazon, just because they asked me to charge for something, I put the minimum price there possible. So I don't make any money from these things. You can find the printed book there, like this one, at Amazon, and also the Kindle version, and they are very, very, very cheap. I think a book there is $12 or $14,
Oh,
something along
wow.
those lines. Yeah. It's just the production cost. Yeah.
Okay. And you have a page also, somewhere they can go and follow you?
Well, you can search for the Spirits Files on Facebook and YouTube. I'm pretty lousy updating those social media, but just have faith in me. I will do a better job. Subscribe whenever there's, at least when there is a book, I'll put it out there and say, hey, the new book is here. For example, I shared our live stream. So yeah, I don't update every day, but yeah, you can get the latest from there.
All right. Well, Wagner, I really appreciate your time tonight and spending the evening with us and answering our questions. And I hope to have you back again sometime. We'll bring you back, and I'm sure things are going to progress and more is going to be released and people are going to have more questions. And I'm sure that you'll have even updates as time goes on. And we look really forward to having you back. It's always a pleasure to have you. And again, I want to thank you for, you're a very pleasant person. I really enjoy speaking with you. And just thank you very much for coming on tonight. And man, it's a pleasure every time. So I hope that, you continue to grow and continue to write your books, and everybody knows now how to find you. Like you said, it's free, guys. I mean, you can go listen, but I would encourage you to buy the books, because audio is not always there. I've found stuff on audio before. I went back to try to listen to it and it's gone. If you got the book, you have the book, right? You can skip to where you want to go. You can highlight, you can bookmark. That's what I like to do anyways. But again, Wagner, thank you for coming. God bless you, man. And we'll have you back just as soon as, I'm sure it won't be long.
Thanks, everyone. And thank you so much, Mike. It's always a pleasure being here.
All right, Wagner, you have a great night, sir.
You too.
All right. Good night. It's always a pleasure, guys, having Wagner on with us. I hope you all enjoyed that. He knows a lot more about it than I do. I hope that you all, enjoyed the show, enjoyed the information. I know I have a lot of questions left, a lot of things I'm going to look at. I thought it was pretty interesting, a lot of the things he talked about as far as, having to have the permission to be able to come down, having to, the permission thing is really something I want to look into. I want to look in more to the CE5 project that people do, as far as if they're not opening themselves up, at not working or not knowing what you're going to contact. I think that was very important tonight. And that was just some of the things I took from it. I took a lot of notes, and I'm going to go through, and I'm probably going to go listen to his audio books, and I might even order a couple of books, because I'm interested in some of it and I want to research some of it also. But I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Always want to thank you all for being here. We got a Boots on the Ground coming up. I guess if you wanted me to, I could run out there tonight and do you a Boots on the Ground. I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know. You never know, though. I could do an impromptu. But guys, until next time, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your support, and keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Good night. God bless.